This time on Craig, JD and Mike.
I ain't got a hot day, I don't know where this has come from. Oh, that's a design.
Is it too big?
No, it's too small. It is another day and we are back on the Integra today. JD has the refreshments and inside here we have Michael with the tag.
We are Craig, JD and Mike. I'm gonna get back for this. Three mates, building, reviving and racing the most unexpected cars on the internet. From forgotten BMWs to sleeper family cars. If it's fast, broken or a bit ridiculous, we are on it. So, if you love fast cars, bad ideas and crazy road trips, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for all the chaos.
So, last time we bought the Integra, got it all the way home from Birmingham to find the engine was broken, and me and Mike took a long trip up to BCA to pick up a Honda Accord for the K24 engine that's underneath there, and today we're actually going to make a start on taking the engine out. So first things first, we're going to see if the K20 starts. The car's been on charge since we put it in here. We did notice when we put it in there that the rattling got a little bit quieter, so we're keen to see what happens when we fire it up from cold.
Oh!
Wait a minute!
Turn off! Turn off! I'm not actually sure what to do.
So let's start it up, drive it up, sorry, butterfly distracted me, drive it out of the garage and we will see what happens now. That seemed to start just fine. I'm not hearing a lot of knock there. That actually sounds mint. Come in. So if we give it a rev.
Daddy do it.
Daddy do it. There's nothing wrong with that.
So what's up then, Mike?
Well, typical Honda, it can't even break down properly. It's not making any knocking noises at all. But if you go back to episode 1, you can clearly hear it knocking, and we just don't trust it. So we've had a bit of a chat off camera, and I think we're just going to rip it out. Let's rip it out. We've got the K24. I've personally driven a few of these. I think they're a little bit underwhelming. Don't shoot me in the comments. Let's try it, see what a K24 one's like. Let's see what all the fuss is about. This is coming out. That's the next thing.
Okay. Do you know what's really interesting? I had one of these before with the genuine Japanese engine in, and I sold it and bought a Civic diesel, the 2.2 diesel, and I actually enjoyed the diesel engine more than the K20A. So
there's our comment section shot to bits.
So I think we're going to pull this out because the 24 is supposed to be a bit more torquey. Hopefully it'll make it actually a fun car to drive and not a frustrating one.
See anything?
Yeah, it is full of metal.
That is shiny.
So something has died in the engine, which is weird why it stopped knocking. Can you see just sort of in that area there?
The little bit glittery.
Glittery,
yeah,
exactly
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, let me see if we can get it in the sunlight. Yeah.
What you want is a torch.
So what is that kind of shimmery stuff? What does that mean?
It's probably a rod bearing. These K20s eat rod bearings.
Okay.
I know 5 people who have dipped their toe into the Honda world with K20s and all of them have eaten their rod bearings.
Yeah.
So it is quite a common issue, although no one really seems to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I would imagine, obviously, until we strip the engine, we're never going to know what it is, but I'd imagine that is a rod bearing.
I do not know how I managed to work on cars before I had power tools.
You're welcome.
I don't know what you mean, Michael.
Bop, bop, boom, boom. Oh, that's a design.
Oh no!
That is a design.
Terrible.
You're working like a pig under here.
It literally goes straight on the subframe.
Right. I have always struggled to get ball joints off cars. It has been my nemesis. Now, at Mike's workshop, we use a large pry bar. So I have purchased the largest pry bar I can find online. Now, today is going to be the very first time I've used this to remove a hub from a ball joint. So let's see if I have fixed my lifelong issue, and this is now an easy task. Let me just turn the... Oh, the steering lock's on. I'm actually struggling to get this in.
That's what she said.
I can't get a lever bar in there anyway. There's no sort of hub to put it on.
Is it too big?
No, it's too small.
That's what she said.
Alright, so we've broken the taper. Now it's time to use Segan with great success.
Why is it called Segan?
It's just what's written on it. I'm assuming it's the brand name
Right.
as well. Oh, look at that. It's gotten it. It's gotten it off. Alright, if you just pull that hub towards you now, Mush.
This thing?
Yep. We're done.
Oh.
On to the next side.
All of that?
I told you this was the right tool for the job.
A great success.
Oh,
Is that another stress part?
stress part.
Blimey.
Working on junk.
I can smell it as well, you rancid.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sure yours all smell fantastic.
They do, that's dirty.
They don't.
So, we are almost there. Everything's out from underneath, all the coolant pipes are out, all the wiring, the electricity's out. Mike's just taking off these rams because I can't be trusted. Quick side quest, while I was up at Mike's workshop the other day, came up just to give him a hand as I had a bit of time. Long story short, went to close the boot of his Astra with one of these, just kinked it straight in half, and then ran away before he noticed. So Mike's doing these today on the Integra so that we don't break them.
Because you can't be trusted.
Because we can't be trusted indeed. So we're pretty much ready to take the engine out. Just find something to wedge the bonnet with, and we're there. Alright, so we are done with the car for now. So as far as this is concerned, that can go back in the garage until we're ready for it. Take the gearbox off this engine, and then after that, I guess we're gonna have to start stripping this down, start having a look at the two engines side by side. So first things first, let's get this back in the garage.
Right, there's the Integra engine, there's the K24. You don't have to be a genius to notice, they look pretty identical. You can just see the additional height here from where this is a stroke version of this, but effectively that head is going on that engine with all those ancillaries, and then this can go back in the car. So we're going to get the gearbox off this, so we can mount it on an engine build stand, strip it down and see where all that swarf has come from.
Okay, so last couple things for us to do today. Mike's got to shoot off soon for his hot date that he's in denial about.
I ain't got a hot day, I don't know where this has come from.
Go on, what's the name?
He's
Great,
being well,
apparently.
He's being well coy. He's got to go in a little bit, but he's not telling us why. Anyway, so we've got to get the engine stripped down today. We want to actually see what's wrong with it as well, because obviously, you know, a couple of hours ago before we took it out, we found that there was a lot of glitter in the oil. So we need all the ancillaries, everything off this engine to put on the K24, which is just here that you've seen in the last episode. So we need to strip it down anyway. So we're going to try and get all that done today. And we'll see what's actually wrong with this engine, hopefully, by the end of the day. Before Mike's hot date. Okay, so K20 is pretty stripped down externally wise anyway. Got all the ancillaries off, chucked in a box. From the research we've done, we need to use all of those on the 24 engine. So we're gonna pick this up in a minute when we're feeling a bit stronger, put it on the engine stand and then rip it apart internally and see what there is that's wrong with it.
Have we found out who Mike's date is yet?
We have not.
Oh, Mike, tell us. Is it the girl from the wedding?
No.
Well, it could be the girl from the
Is
wedding.
it the girl from work?
No.
Is it Adele?
No.
1, 2, 3. Oh, he's having a gun. That's literally ripping my hand to bits. Go on.
Little bit of advice. I mean, it's a bit late now because it's weed the floor, but the proper drip tray to go over an engine stand is over 100 quid. But for 20 quid, you can have a nice cement mixing tray that an engine stand fits just inside. Let's have a look in the bottom first. I think it is going to be a rod bearing. Cool, sounds like your wallet.
Sounds like your bum. Oh yeah. All the welds have broken off.
All the welds are broken off.
Right, show me, point it out.
And something's been smashing on there.
Oh yeah?
Do you reckon that's why I was making that knocking sound? Was that knocking on the...
No.
Oh, it could have been this moving around in it.
No.
So explain to me, what should that be connected to?
This should all be welded in place, so it shouldn't move.
Shouldn't move, yeah.
Right.
So this is a sump baffle, it stops the oil. So these cars have to have a sump baffle if you take them on tracks because they get oil starvation.
That should be in there.
There you go.
Okay.
So not enough oil goes into the engine, so it causes the bottom ends to go.
Yeah.
And they knock and then it blows the engine up like what we had with this one.
Yeah.
But this one was supposed to be welded in place so it doesn't move.
Right.
And you can see all the welds have broken across here.
Yeah.
Hence why it's like this.
Oh.
I see.
So if that's, you know, rocking away inside,
Yeah.
It sounded more up
Exactly.
top though.
it did a bit, didn't it?
We're not that far from finding out.
No. You can see the swarf there in the oil on the top and over here. It's all glittery, look.
Don't drop it down the hill. It would be quite ironic if it was a sump baffle, because this is the oil pickup, so it sucks the oil up through here, and this was hanging around in the sump, and we know this engine let go at very high RPM, so there is it could have sucked it up and blocked it like that.
Okay.
And it could be the reason for the oil starvation.
So we've just taken the windage tray off and we've discovered we've got ARP rod bolts here, which are these parts. Now they're aftermarket and they're much stronger than standard, And this is a really classic indicator that someone's already rebuilt this engine and changed the bottom end bearings. So we are starting to wonder now if it really was just the sump baffle that had come loose that was causing that rattling. But let's keep going and see what the bearings look like. Oh, he's on tiny. Ooh. Got it?
Yeah. No, it's all right. So I just looked at the underside bearing, and that's very crazed as well, but it's got scratches in it, which you really don't want on a bearing. That looks like a scratch from it being fitted as opposed to any damage, because the crank runs around that way, so any damage that the crank causes would score the bearing that way.
Yeah.
So that looks like a fitting error as opposed to damage. But if you look on the bearing, you can see loads more swarf.
Yeah.
And I just don't think the baffle flapping around in the sump would cause that much swarf. So I think we need to look at 2 and 3.
Okay.
I'm not very experienced in these K20s, but there's a lot of grooves in here. So what I'm wondering is if this engine has actually done its rod bearings before, and someone's just slapped a set of bearings in it and some bolts and kicked it off down the road hoping for the best. And that explains all the swarf. The swarf is actually from previous blow up. But it still doesn't explain why it sounded like a donkey when we started it.
And then it was fine. Oh, come back a bit.
That's it. Perfect.
Right, can't find anything wrong in the bottom end, so let's spin them over, take the head off. This is what makes Honda engines so special, is the VTEC.
I do like Honda engines, I just don't like the packaging. So what you can see here is Honda's VTEC system. These are your non-VTEC cam lobes, and then this big one that's bigger in the middle. It uses oil pressure to lock the rockers, and then it runs purely on this big cam lobe, which has more lift and duration.
Which gives you what, more acceleration, more speed? What?
More power basically, because the milder cam's better for low down the revs, and the VTEC cam's better high up the revs, which is why halfway up the rev range it swaps over.
Alright, so we are struggling to actually find anything wrong with this. I think the next step for us will be to strip all the cam gear off and actually get into the nitty gritty of the head. However, as we all know, Mike's date is waiting, so
I don't know where this has come from.
Time is of the
He
essence.
needs to have a nice shower when he gets home, get smelling lovely.
I don't think any 540 is the correct lubrication for Mike's evening, so he'll have a little shower, wouldn't you, mate? Anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you're interested in seeing how we're going to build this K24 engine, the next one should be us finishing stripping the engine down and building up the K24. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one where we do more Honda engine things. And we hear about Mike's date.
I don't have a date. I don't know where this has come from.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to the day when I felt at home. Take me back to the age when we were that small.
I know.
It's nice.
Casually doing a bit of work in a car, and they put on a private display for us.
They clearly value the quality of an Integra from back to life.
Too many things going on, I can't keep track of them all. From people dropping a bomb to people putting up walls, I feel like life is on hold, perception stuck in a vault. I know that time can heal all, but how much time to